Well, welcome everybody. Dr. Louise Swartzwalter here with the Brain Soul Success Show. And this is the show where we learn, explore, and create your powerful, positive healing for life. And I am here with my guest, Rob Actis. And Rob, you're a legend. You've done so many things in your life. And I'm just, I was reading your bio and all that you've created. And gosh, from audiobooks to doing your own book now and all those TV commercials that you did. You have the voice, don't you? You have it.
I have the voice, I guess. Yeah, the voice.
Yes.
I've never been called a legend ever. So thank you, Louise. I've never been called a legend. No, but I'll take it.
Yeah, no, I just feel like you've done a lot of amazing things in your life and can tell that, you impact so many people on levels that they may not know they needed it, in a sense, with your law of action. So tell us what that means. I know you wrote the book, The Law of Action. Tell us what that means to you and how you got to that.
So I wrote the book. It's The Law of Action. It's gain perfect clarity, boost your confidence, and get more results now. And it really came from two things. One, in chapter 1, it's entitled Your Daughter May Die. And it's about my daughter, who was 14 years old and unfortunately had to have brain surgery where they removed part of her frontal lobe and suffered 4 strokes. And it's all about the action that we took to get her to where she is today. Because had we not taken massive immediate action, she couldn't walk, she couldn't talk, she couldn't use the right side of her body. And massive immediate action is what got her to where she is today. And in that healing of my daughter, I was taking care of her and I wasn't paying attention to me. I was putting all my attention onto her. And when you take care of people, you have to take care of yourself first before you could take care of someone else. It was discovered that I had Leiden factor 5, which is a blood clotting disorder. And I started working out at an MMA gym and got really physically fit while I was taking care of my daughter. My daughter is very smart, and she said, Dad, you're always complaining of a Charlie horse. You have a blood clot. And I'm like, nah, I'm working out. I'm not really athletic, so I'm doing it. I just had this terrible Charlie horse in my leg. So months and months and months and months and months went by with a fairly severe pain to the point of it got really severe. Fast forward to the emergency room doctor where he said, Rob, this is really bad. It's surprising you're alive. And we're going to do everything we can do now to keep you alive.
Wow.
So they sent me home, which was scary. And I laid in bed for about 3.5 months because I didn't understand how blood clots work, but there's stuff moving around in there. If one of those dislodges, it's going to go to your heart or your lung and you're going to die. And I was made very aware that it's not an enjoyable way to die. It's actually a slow, painful death. And I'm like, oh man, this totally sucks. So I stopped my line. I had like a mini worldwide pandemic in my house. I stopped my world. All I ever did was take my daughter to school, which I wasn't supposed to do, and pick her up. That's all I knew to do. Other than that, I laid in my bed. And during that time, I played back my life. And I decided that where I'd taken action, I succeeded. And where I didn't take action, I had failed. And I saw all the things that I'd taken action on. And I was really, based on my upbringing, I shouldn't be successful. And I'm successful. So I didn't let that stop me. And it's funny because my grandma at 5 years old called me Mr. Action, which is just hilarious. So it's kind of a nickname. I know. So it's all about breaking through your fears and living a life of inspired action, not being stuck in the planning stage of your life, but actually getting in your jet and not being on the runway, but taking off and living a life of inspired action, creating that momentum of deciding, planning, and acting, and having the life of your dreams. That's it.
So
hey, thanks for having me. Okay, bye-bye.
Oh my gosh, no, but that's so awesome. I mean, that's how we always love, the story is how we get to where we are today, right? So it's the challenges in our life that create who you are and what you're doing in the world today. And so your story of just taking massive action for yourself and your daughter, for both of you,
Absolutely.
really help move you forward in your life and create the book.
Well, it's funny because the book and the speaking came out of, I told my daughter, I said, Aiden, you are remarkable. You did something that very few people have done with all the brain damage that you had, the 4 massive strokes, and the fact that you came back from nothing at 14 years old, went to school, was bullied, overcame that. I mean, you need to be on stage and you need to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, all right, you do it first.
Great challenge from the daughter to the dad, right?
Right. So it was appropriate. And so that's what I did. So, you mentioned about my voiceovers, and some of you may recognize my voice already. I'm the narrator for Hal Elrod's The Miracle Morning audiobook series. So all of his audiobooks, I'm the narrator of. And so being around Hal and seeing what it was like to be an author and a speaker and someone who really motivated and inspired and transformed lives, that was really another catalyst that had me create my book, because I saw the impact that the book was having. And I'm like, people need to live every day like that. And I was starting to talk to people that were coming to visit me, and they're like, God, you're like a motivational speaker. And they were really be inspired by my story and my daughter's story. Mm-hmm. And that's where the book came out. And it's transformed my whole life, because this is not what I started out doing.
So what did you start out doing?
Well, I'm a national voice actor. When I get done with this show, I'm going to go do a national TV commercial in my studio around the corner. And I do, AAA, CarMax, Black Box Wines, Walmart, Subway, small companies like that. And that's what I do. Mm-hmm. And it brings me joy because I'm well taken care of from that financially, but it doesn't bring me joy the way that being Mr. Action does. Having the coaching program and having my one-on-ones with people and really taking and being a catalyst for their lives to expand and live that life that they never thought possible, just by getting over some few fears.
So how do you help people get over those fears?
Well, I think it's really the way that I do it. And it's not magic. I mean, it's not magic in that your fears stop you. And so what I've discovered is that if you get over your little fears, you can climb that mountain to the big fears. Now, I'm kind of an overachiever and I'm very competitive, so I go for the big fears. I was afraid of a fear of heights. Mm-hmm. And so I went on a helicopter ride. And when I did that, it empowered me, because I knew I would be a different person when I broke through that fear and did it. Mm-hmm. And it allowed me to do so much. Well, I decided it was time to break another fear. And I have another business, and I have my partner, and she's all about motivation and inspiration. We have a team of technicians, and she decided to do a one-day event. I could still kill her. At a flying trapeze school. All she did was not tell me. She paid for it, and just announced it to the group and said, hey, we're all going to be there. So I'm one of the partners of the business. I can't just say, well, I'm not going. Because I'm the leader. I need to walk the talk, and I need to be the foremost person. I can't have that be stopping me, because who's going to want to follow someone that's afraid or not moving forward? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is 40 feet in the air. And I just said, I'm doing it. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. So they're all up there flying and stuff. And it was my turn. And I turned to them, I said, I want you to know something. My biggest fear is fear of heights. And I want you to know something. Because of how much I love and care for all of you, my family, my techs, my part of this team, that I am going to break through this fear to show you how you can break through fears. But I don't know how long it's going to take me to do it. So it usually takes 30 seconds, 45 seconds to get up the 40-foot ladder. Uh-huh. Took me 11 minutes to get up the ladder.
That's okay. You did it.
But I kept going up, and I had their encouragement, but they're like, just move your leg up to the next rung. And I'm like, I am. My leg is not moving. Then I got up there, and why they do this, I don't know. And I'm closing my eyes because it's a nightmare. The platform, which is only like 3 feet by 5 feet, and there's already a girl up there and another guy up there with me, it's clear plexiglass.
Oh no, you can look down.
I'm yelling at the guy, whose idea was that? It's hard enough to get up there. And then I got up there, I'm like, okay, I don't have to look down. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh.
So then they tell you, okay, now you're up there and you're high on a little teeny platform. It's not normal. And, I talk about my book. I almost fell off a building when I was in radio, and I fell over and I was being held by my legs. I grabbed something in a windstorm and it was stupid, but I was upside. It was scary.
Wow.
I have a fear of heights, and I know it's unreasonable at times because I don't even want to get on, a chair, but I'm getting better because I did the flying trapeze. So you get up there, you're on this trapeze. And what's crazy about it is you have to actually lean out your body like this to grab the bar. And your feet are over the edge, and you have to trust them that they're holding on with that little belt that you're not going to fall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do that. But it's not natural to lean that way to grab the little ring.
Right.
But here's the best part, and I love this. So I'm like, I'm going to do this. The guy, Marco, and I'm going to use this forever now. He said, Rob, he's yelled at me. He's getting frustrated because they wanted to do it again. I was burning up time. And he said, are you afraid? Yes. Here's the deal. Do you think this is dangerous? And I go, yes. He goes, here's the reality, Rob, and know this to your core. Mm-hmm. You will not be any more afraid than right now. You are not in any more danger than you are right now. You're not going back down the ladder. The only option you have is to grab the bar and jump. Mm-hmm. And it just like, heck yeah. So I leaned over, I grabbed the bar, and I jumped. And it was amazing. And I was so exhilarated. I'm like, oh, all these things that are holding me back, of course I'm not writing, or this proposal, or this or this. I'm like, easy. When you break through your fears, mm-hmm. and you realize what you have done, because fears are really false expectations appearing real, your life will change like that. Like that. It's so amazing. Whatever it is. A lot of us have fears to talk to people. Mm-hmm. And you break through the fears. And the way you do it is just take a little fear and a little fear and a little fear, and then go for the big fear. But do it, because it's not going to get any scarier. It's not going to get any more dangerous.
You learned a lot in that moment, didn't you? Everything changed.
It catapulted even when I did the helicopter ride. I mean, all the little things that I've done. I mean, it's so funny because people are like, you're afraid of heights. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not afraid of being in a Formula One race car or a stock car going 145 miles an hour. And I'm not afraid of getting into a ring and doing boxing or MMA or Muay Thai and being in a fight. That doesn't scare me. But heights?
Heights.
That scares me.
Wow. Well, I'm so proud of you. And thanks for sharing that story with us, for doing it, for being up there doing it. And my goodness, and the way you described it too, the plexiglass and, everything you had to do. So overcoming that fear really helped you be in massive action, right?
Absolutely. And I will say that my team was yelling down from the bottom, oh, okay, Mr. Action, I thought you're the guy who overcomes your fears. Yeah, you overcome. Yeah, that was fun. But the defining moment was when it's not going to get any more terrifying, and it's not going to get any more dangerous. You're already there.
Right.
So you're already in the moment. And so I got really super present, and I jumped in. And then what I did was, and this is the key in your business as well, is that you can go and you can fail and just do it again and repivot and pivot. We're in a pivot moment. But what I did was, as soon as I got down, I go, I'm getting back up. Now, the first way up was like 11 or 12 minutes. I got up the second time in like a minute. And then
Great.
it took like 4 or 5 minutes to actually jump off.
So you
And
did
then
it again.
I did it 4 times.
You did it 4 times. All right.
And then I just went back again last week, or not last week. God, last week. Oh my God. Okay. 2 weeks before the pandemic started last week.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right. So however many weeks we've been in this, whatever this is,
Uh-huh.
2 weeks before that, I was up there watching a friend of mine on my team that actually joined the course and was actually doing some fancy stuff. And Marco goes, "Want to go back up?" And I go, "Yeah." And I went up 3 more times.
Wow. So you did it over and over again. So good for you. Would you advise anybody to do that? Is that what you would say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so funny because there's so many things that are dangerous in our life that we're afraid of. And there really are not logical reasons to be afraid. There's a net. Yeah, I could get hurt. I'm not going to die. You have a strap, but there's an innate fear that we have. And I will tell you, and I did this when I did the helicopter, and I did this with this trapeze. I videoed it because I knew that I had a responsibility to people that follow me to see the process and to see. And the one thing is that I will always be amazed by is after you break through a fear, like with the helicopter or even the trapeze, I got down. I was like, okay, I'm going to get up this thing. I'm going to go up this. And then I got down and I was like, wow, it's almost like a Zen-like moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so peaceful because it's like I had just, like in martial arts, gotten another belt in my life. I'd gotten my brown belt or my purple belt or my orange belt. And my life has never been the same. Every time I break through a fear, or writing a proposal this morning, I was trying to write something out. I'm like, wow, this is okay. Da, 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 da. And I was like, just had this fear of doing it. I'm like, you know what? You flew on the flying trapeze.
Mm-hmm.
And well, if you could do that, this is writing a letter. What's the worst going to happen? No. The worst that could happen to the flying trapeze is you could die. So I'm good with that.
Right. No, it sounds you accomplished that. That's just amazing. You did a good job there. And you're a model. You're modeling it for everyone else. When I think about fear, I think the opposite of fear is faith.
Absolutely.
We just did a big quiz on clear the fear, keep the faith because of this pandemic thing, right?
Absolutely.
So it's really about getting people back to faith, and to trust, and
right here.
Yeah, and releasing all of that. There's definitely, there's a I think of it as a brain, heart, gut connection.
Oh yeah.
So the naturopath in me would go to the gut thing, but you got to do it all. We're
Right.
whole people. We're whole people. So whenever you can go to that heart place is when you really move the needle and touch people like like you did when you shared your story. I mean, I can tell how important it is for you to make sure your daughter's okay.
Absolutely.
Yourself, there's just a deep love there that you have for her. And kudos to you guys for taking massive action right away. I wish that I had known, you then and her then, because I think the brain system could have really helped her too at that time. But it's never too late. You talk about the law of action, and you're this, action taker, and I can see, and what a great story. I want to go on that flying trapeze now. I think that would be fun. I don't have a fear of heights, but I think it'd be so cool.
It's so fun because I've inspired a lot of people that have been talking about it to go. Now it's closed now because of this pandemic, but they're like, oh my God, because I am very vocal that I'm afraid of heights, like very vocal. And it's amazing to me how it just opened the door for a lot of people to overcome their fears.
Yeah. Well, you took the leadership role. So, gosh, kudos to you. I know that in your work with coaching and with the people you work with, you also talk about how the law of action goes hand in hand with the law of attraction.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
Well, I'm very much into the law of attraction. Love The Secret. I do vision boards. Mm-hmm. I'm all about positive. My background, language, communication, extremely important. The words that come out of my mouth, extremely important. Mm-hmm. almost like the point, I have someone who just yells and screams at people that are driving, you're a blankety blank. And I believe that when you say something like that,
Mhm.
you're saying it to yourself.
Mhm.
So that's how much I believe in that subconscious. And I also believe that people have this just idea that they can sit on the couch and think good thoughts, and someone's going to knock on their door and they're going to say, you know what, your ideal job is we're waiting. We've been looking all over for you. You can want to get across the room, but you actually have to take steps to get there. And a lot of people really genuinely just do not take action. And then they wonder why their life doesn't work. They don't send out that proposal. They don't ask their boss for a raise. They don't apply for a new position. They
Mhm.
don't talk to the girl or the guy that they feel that they have a connection with because of fear. And why not you? Why can't you have that woman as your partner? Why can't you have that man as your partner? Why can't you be
Mhm.
a, a high level performance coach? Why can't you be a top Hollywood actor? Someone is going to get that job.
Mhm.
Why not you? So what I do is I work with people and really helping them get their worthiness. So one of the things that I'm really good at doing, which I love, is help people. You can tell people you need to charge more. You need to charge more. You need to charge more.
Mhm.
But I work with people and really get their true value. So where they actually do charge more and they get it because it exudes from them how valuable they are and what they're providing.
Mhm. So you're helping them release any blocks around their own worthiness.
Yes, absolutely. And I walk my talk. So everything that I teach people, I have done. Overcoming my fears, I'm always working on overcoming my fears.
Mhm.
That's really important to me. Being in action, I am in action. And I know there's a consequence by inaction. So I walk the talk, and that's why, it's funny. It's come back again. They call me Mr. Action. I'm always in a very forward momentum, and I'm always moving, and I'm always doing something. And I'm also at peace. And I wanted to say that because people say, "Oh, you're going, going, going." I always do gratitude in the morning, and I always do gratitude at night, and I
Mhm.
meditate. So with lots of action, I
Mhm.
also take care of myself, and I have the gratitude and the meditation and the calm as well. I know it's hard to believe that I'm actually calm at times, but I am calm at times.
Well, you know what? I don't know that you would accomplish everything that you have if you didn't have the right balance between your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So the
Right.
meditation, calms you down and keeps you focused on those goals and what you want to take action on. But it does amaze me how many things you have accomplished in, your life. It feels like you've got 3 or 4 businesses all juggling at the same time. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs who are busy like you? What tips or tools do you use to be able to maintain all that, to maintain that balance and
Well,
that massive action?
one thing is that if you're doing a repetitive task over and over and over again,
Hmm.
get a robot to do it.
Oh, nice.
Like
Okay.
there's so many software tools out there that will just take care of those repetitive tasks. Number two, if you're doing a repetitive task over and over again, and you don't like to do it, and you can hire someone to do it, and you can focus on what you do best, hire someone to do it, and then not do it. Because if you're doing stuff that you don't want to do, and you can afford someone to do it for you,
Hmm.
that frees you up to do what you need to do.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it sounds really simple, but are you really doing that? A lot of people are not. They're like, I do everything myself. You need to know what you can do and your strengths and your weaknesses are. And look, I am not good at paperwork. I am not good at left brain stuff at all. Flight reservations, hotel reservations, any of that stuff, no, I'm not good at. Creating,
Hmm.
I'm good at. coming up with a structure for a company or marketing, I'm good at. Business, I'm good at. That's what I'm good at. But the other stuff I'm not. I have other people do it.
Right. Great advice. Great advice. Because I do see a lot of solopreneurs who don't take that action step in finding that help.
Well, you being in the brain, so if you haven't noticed, I have ADD. You probably might figured that out.
Mhm.
I tend to go off a little tangents, but I will tell you, I don't consider it a handicap or a disability, and a lot of people do. It's allowed me to create a life that's just unbelievable because of the way that I think.
Mhm.
And I will tell you, everybody has their own unique way of learning their brain and how their brain works. If you just embrace your brain as it is, and wherever you have a weakness around you, you just get support and you get your ego out of it. It's okay to ask for help. It's
Yeah.
okay to ask.
Mhm.
Like, ask for what you want. And how simple a concept, ask. Like people say, how did you get this and all that? And I'm like, I asked. You just ask. And
You,
that will help with the fear.
yeah, you know what I'm picking up that's really kind of interesting. It's ask and you'll receive. And
Absolutely.
and that is, that is very biblical. And you've worked on overcoming your fears. So
Yes.
you're standing more in faith, maybe here than you did back here, right? Because you've
Right.
overcome those things. And so when you stand in faith and you ask and you can receive, when you have that faith, you will receive.
Yeah. And the one thing that just came to me actually just got communication is that people really need to get that the next course and the next course and the next course and the next course is not going to transform their life if they haven't worked on this. This is the course you need to work on. You
Mhm.
need to be in alignment. You need to have your ability to overcome your fears. You need to have the ability to jumpstart yourself, because otherwise you're just going to go after shiny objects. But you have to get clear with here. And that's why I go back to meditation and gratitude. That is the most important thing. Embrace your brain, embrace who you are, and know that you have tremendous amount of gifts. And you probably haven't even realized them because you're following all this noise.
Yes.
Take time
Yes.
for you. That's my biggest thought right now, is take care of you.
Yes. And and what great advice right now, on the planet where we are in this COVID-19 pandemic. We've been given this white space, you know. And Rob, that's actually what my brain system is we get back to being 100% your soul truth.
Absolutely.
And when you're 100%, so there's like lots of different ways to say this, right? If we really get in conversation with people, and we all learn from these podcasts, from conversation, right? So, in conversation tips that Rob is sharing here, I hope that you take them and follow some of the things that he's suggesting here. That's how we learn. We learn from each other, and we are very social people. So what you're saying about getting back to being, the heart space here, getting back to being you, when you're you, everything else will come. You'll be aligned.
Yeah.
You'll attract it. That's the law of attraction piece. It's about getting back to you, 100% you.
The one thing that blows my mind, I work with really successful people. And one of the key, I close my eyes again, it just blows my mind. One of the biggest fears they have, these are successful people,
Mm-hmm.
is fear of unworthiness
Mm-hmm.
and fear of success. They do everything they can to self-sabotage themselves, and they're successful anyways. But it's really amazing to me how many people have this fear of success. Okay, well, I'm here. I'm not worthy enough to be here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
I
just,
wonder if there isn't something in the striving, though. So if they're feeling like they can't have it, it's almost like, when we can't have the lollipop as a little kid, it makes you want it more and you go for it, especially if you're a little bit of that ADD type.
no, these are people, they self-sabotage. That's just unbelievable. It's just incredible
We can,
how they will do everything
well,
they can do to not get past a certain level.
I mean, now that you say that, I mean, what I want to say to that is send them to me. I mean, I
Yeah,
love to clear those blocks. I love to clear those
yeah,
sabotage blocks. That's how, I don't know, that's how you succeeded by, tackling your fears. That's how, you know,
absolutely.
that's how I succeeded was, keeping the faith, was moving through the fear and keeping the faith.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. During this time of pandemic, it's if you look at it the way that, first of all, this is an incredibly difficult time for a whole lot of people.
Mhm.
Um, Incredibly difficult. People have lost houses, they've lost businesses. My heart goes out to them. I own a couple brick and mortar businesses, and it's really difficult right now. We have employees. It's really difficult.
Mhm.
We're doing everything we can to provide for our employees, and it's hard. And, as we're in the United States, no matter how hard it is, it's not really that hard compared to other people in the world.
Mhm.
And I want to be really sympathetic and compassionate with those people that are really struggling right now. And I will tell you that no matter what condition you're in, this is a pause. This is a chance for you to be different than who you were before this happened. So if you didn't like who you were before this happened, this is your opportunity to be someone new and recreate you, because who you are right now.
Mhm.
Hey, there's someone in. We got a new visitor.
Me too. Hey, Debbie. Hey, I'll be with you in a little bit.
We got a visitor. I'll be talking along. But what I was saying was, who you are today is who you're going to be when you get out of this. If you're living in momentum and you're taking action and you're breaking through your fears and you're not getting bogged down by all the bad news and bogged down by all the binge watching of Netflix and all that stuff, and you're actually working on yourself,
Yes.
creating, taking a course, whatever you're in, and being the best you that you can be right now, getting in the best shape you can be in right now. I'm exercising every day. I'm eating a really good, healthy meal. I'm drinking a ton of water. I'm keeping this clear. I'm rocking when I get out of this. And I know you are too.
Mhm.
So I invite you to be the best person you can be right now, because that is who you're going to be when this is over. You're not going to have a chance to just flip a switch. You need to be in momentum, because there are people now that you've never heard of that are going to be at the top of the heap when this is over, because a lot of people that are at the top of the heap are just resting and they're not around. So this is your opportunity to reinvent yourself and be anybody that you want to be. I've never thought any of this would be happening, that the whole world would go on a pause. But
Mhm.
if you look at it, this is an incredible gift.
It is an incredible gift. I was going to ask you for your tip, and that's your tip, isn't it? That's a really powerful,
Absolutely.
powerful statement to everybody out there. So, I hope that you all enjoyed listening to Rob. I certainly enjoyed this conversation. You're absolutely amazing. Just kudos to you for all the work that you've been doing in the world, and thank you for all the people that you've been helping. And show us your book again, because I love the name of it. I just even love the name of it, Rob. It's perfect. Wow, the law of action.
There you go.
That is powerful. So take an action step today. Be who you want to be. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the audiobook is coming out. I don't know when this is going to air, but the audiobook is available on Audible. So if you like my voice, and you can listen to me, but I have 34 books on Audible. Audible is a wonderful thing. And the books that I've narrated, Ed Rush's The 21-Day Miracle, The Miracle Morning. I just did another one. It's on leadership. If you look at my name on Audible, you'll see my books, and I put my heart and soul into them, and they're really good books, and they will have an impact on your life.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Rob. What a gift. Yeah, thank you so much. So we thank you for being here, and hope that you all have a powerful, positive day.